Hey guys, this is Etan Sun from Sunbros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video, but before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, let's go ahead and dive into how to play a support. We're going to start, of course, by talking about and discussing what exactly the job of a support in a team is. Some of these might seem really simple and easy to you guys, but there's a little bit more to them than I think that most people notice, and I'm going to explain them really thoroughly to you guys so you know exactly what I mean. Alright, now the first and most important part of a support's job is to help set up their teammates to get kills. Whether we're talking about in lane with that marksman that they play with on the dragon side, or we're talking about in a team fight situation, this is easily one of the most important things that supports do. I'll go into a little bit more detail in just a moment on how that's done, but first I want to discuss the second job of a support, and that is to protect the back line. Because at the end of the day, if a support's damage dealers dies, more than likely the support is going to die also. Now, one of the common things you may have noticed about playing support is that none of a support's job really has anything to do with them. That's because, believe it or not, contrary to popular beliefs, a support's job is to support their teammates. So you might just be sitting there wondering to yourself, Sunbros, how do I help set up kills for my teammates and help protect the back line? Supports come with a very interesting set of abilities that help them do just that. For the sake of simplification of this video, I'm going to explain them in two different manners: buffs and debuffs. You could use a slew of buffs and debuffs to help your team secure kills. Buffs can include shields, healing, crowd control, increases in movement speed or attack speed, or increases in damage. Debuffs to the enemy can include reduction in movement speed or crowd control of any kind, reduction in attack speed, damage reduction done to your team, reduction of armor or magic defense. Notice nowhere in the buff and debuff section did we hear damage done. That's because a support's job simply isn't to do damage. The reality is, if we simply help our damage dealers, our true damage dealers, do the damage they need to do by helping set up kills for them and protecting them in dangerous situations, we'll do more to help the team with the damage needing to be done than we will have been able to do having done more damage ourselves. Far too often I find supports trying to do what they don't do well, and that's doing damage, instead of what they do well, which is supporting teammates. And what it causes is it causes your damage dealers to do what they don't do well, which is staying alive via the use of shields, healing, crowd control abilities, buffs, and debuffs, instead of allowing them to do what they do well, which is dealing a lot more damage than a support ever could dream of.
Don't do what Donnie don't does. They could have made this clearer.
So in essence, a support's job is to put the enemy's damage dealers in compromising situations that allow your damage dealers to have an advantage in that situation, while also making sure that the enemy team doesn't put your guys in compromising situations in which they're going to get killed. Now, what that means for you as a support is that you won't necessarily get the glory and the respect that you deserve, but if you're doing your job correctly, you might be the very thing that turns the fight in your team's favor, helping secure a team fight victory for your team and all the advantages that come along with it. And the last part of a support's job that I want to talk about is not making things worse. Now, there's two basic ways that supports tend to make things worse for their team. Number one is following Hero X making stupid decision into said stupid decision and dying along with them. So instead of having one person feed the enemy team, you now have two. Supporting our teammates is very important, but if the end result is simply going to be two dead people instead of one, it isn't worth the risk. So you have to properly assess whether you can get that person out alive or not. And the second way that a support makes things worse is simply building their hero incorrectly. If you're building a support in a way that makes them more of the star, then you're doing it wrong. Your job isn't to do damage, instead it's to help your damage dealers who do way more than you stay alive to do more of their own. One of the most ridiculous things that I hear a support tell me is, I'm building this way because it allows me to do more damage. I don't care about how much damage you do, I'd much rather you be more capable of casting your buffs and debuffs more frequently frequently because you're staying alive and you have cooldown reduction. Alright guys, now we're going to be moving on to the pros and cons of a good support. Pro number 1 is incredible crowd control. If your support doesn't have really good crowd control, chances are they're not a very good support. Second pro is team buffs. Many of the good supports offer some sort of team buff to their team, whether it's movement speed, the ability to take off crowd controlling effects, whether it's a shield or healing or any of those things. That's kind of essential for a good support also. The third pro is that supports don't have to lane alone. They should be laning with a marksman. And the fourth pro for a good support is that they're big time team fight game changers. If you're playing a support hero who doesn't have the capabilities of changing the very direction of a team fight, then you're probably playing a support that's not worth playing. Now we move on to the cons of supports. First con being that supports are low damage. Even when built full damage, supports generally will not be able to produce the same amount of damage as a real damage dealer will be able to. Second con is that supports, because of their low damage, are very team reliant. Their job is to set up their team and they really don't have any carry potential. The next con for a good support is that they're 100% ability reliant. Their auto attacks or normal attacks deal virtually no damage. All the damage and all the positive things that supports will bring to a team and to a game is from their abilities. And the fourth and final con is that supporting is a low glory role or a no glory role. You will not be getting the accolades you deserve for doing your job properly, but you can still give yourself a pat in the back. And we're going to finish off the how to play support video by helping answer the question, is support the right role for you? We're going to go over some support personality traits, or what I like to call complementaries, to help you figure out if support's the right hero for you. The first one is that supports are very team focused. If you're someone who's able to think outside of themselves and be able to focus on the needs of their teammates, then support might be the hero for you. The second complementary of a good support is that they are protectors. Their job, just as important as it is to set up kills, is to help protect their squishy damage dealers in order to help them do their job, which is to deal damage. The third complementary of a good support is that they enjoy playing in a team lane. Sometimes it can be harder to play in a team lane with a marksman, sometimes it can be easier. It's really dependent on your personality type. The fifth complementary of a good support is that they are the behind the scenes star. You may very well be the best player in your team. You may be the very reason your team is winning, but it won't show up in terms of kills or damage or any of the basic stats that we see in the endgame screen. And our last complementary or personality trait of a good support is that they have the ability to play a huge variety of heroes. Based on the composition of your team, supports can be mages, they can be tanks, they can be all kinds of different heroes can be played as support. It's not only important that you're capable of playing different kinds of heroes, but it's also important that you enjoy it. Alright guys, that is it for this video on how to play supports. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, till next time.